Woody, good lad, good boy. Because, as we mentioned before, because we're lucky enough and we've got the luxury that he isn't actually too bad. We've had less work to do at home in the run before we can bring him out. So because he is potentially halfway down that road, we can get him straight out. Now he's looking at that pigeon, which is no problem. Now, Woody's issue, just like many Cocker Spaniels, are, and I say, they've seen what's at the end of the rainbow. What do I mean by that? Basically, because we think we've got a very, very energetic working breed, we're going to need it to exercise and run and run and run and run and run. People subconsciously fall into that trap of saying, go on in, mate, away you go. Once they do that, and once the dog realizes what is at the end of the rainbow, it's very, very difficult to get them back on side again. Very, very difficult to teach him around us is better than what is at the end of the rainbow. And then what we find is, we find cockers, particularly as we're talking about them, they will actively keep trying to seek what is at the end of the rainbow, because if they keep finding and seeking and keep going, something is going to be interesting, be it a magpie, a pigeon, a squirrel, or whatever. So subconsciously, what we've done is we've devalued ourselves, and we've devalued the space and the bubble in the area around ourselves very, very quickly. So now we are out in, the countryside, where you can see the scent is magnified, the distraction is magnified. He is nose down, arse up. He's doing what he was put on this planet to do, okay? But as I said, because we didn't have to spend the majority of time at home in the boring old concrete run setting him up so he was in the right stage of his training to do this, we can crack on. So this is all about him, Woody, good lad, come on, good boy. Him realizing that around us is better to be than what's in that hedge, all right? Now, retractables, I've talked about them previously and talked about them before. They're a great tool if used correctly, okay? I've spoke about that many times before, so we won't bother during this one. But the key points are, never let him get to the end of it. So have a mental note of actually how long your line is, because when the day comes that we do take off this retractable line, he's not going to fill that check and he's going to keep going. And before you know it, very, very rapidly, because he's not feeling the check, because we've allowed him to get to the end of the line, he's going to take advantage of that and just continue going, and we're straight back to square one. So again, with him, we've got a luxury as well. Now, there is one of the techniques that we can use to keep a dog focused and engaged around us, and it's a classic redirectional technique. If your dog is struggling with fixation or displaying reactional behavior on a lead, one of the techniques is just to scatter some food or something on the floor to redirect that dog's thought process, okay? But we've got to be very, very careful if we do that, because what we risk again is subconsciously teaching the dog that the floor is very, very interesting. So then very quickly we find dogs are constantly nose down, arse up, that in turn not being focused or engaged in us, okay? However, for him and his line of, or the path of training of which he's going to go, we are going to use it, and I'll show you the reasons why. Woody, because what I want him to do is realise, Woody, that being around me is beneficial. Okay, good lad. So we're harbouring his instinctive behaviour. He's using his nose. But if you realise and see what I'm doing here, everything that is rewarding to him is within this bubble around me. So theoretically, what I'm doing is I'm narrowing down his entire world. Woody, good lad, I'm narrowing down his entire environment. So every time he is around me or in turn the owners, a human, us, he is getting paid effectively for it. Okay, Woody? There it is, good. Now moving on again, he wants to work, or the owners want to work him. Woody, what we would do, good lad, is talking and teaching at the same time here. Woody, there it is, good. What we would do is we would use this throwing the floor technique to help him understand an effective quartering pattern. Later on down the line, we want to cast him off and he's fizzing left and fizzing right and fizzing left and all that kind of stuff. And we would be zigzagging up the field, encouraging him with hands and moving with him and showing him where to go with our hands and fingers and stuff. Another technique of doing that, to get his nose down and to kick-start off that instinctive behaviour, is to throw food onto the floor, both left and right. So subconsciously, subconsciously as what we're doing, good boy, is we're quartering, but he doesn't know he's quartering. All he's doing is just going from food pile to food pile to food pile to food pile. Woody, come on. Good. Little push of the button there as a check. We're not using it as a fishing line. We're not using it to rein him in. Woody, come on in. Good. There it is. Good. So, Woody out in the big wide world, where what we're doing is, here mate, there it is. We're showing him a bubble. We're narrowing down and really, really reducing his stimulational environment, if that's even a word. Woody, yep, yeah, there it is, good. And we can either get him to come and sit, or we can throw it on the floor, or we can do anything. This is all about, if you are near me, I am providing you everything that you could need, wish, or ever want for. Woody, then what we can do is we can start doing this in taller grass or bracken or whatever it is, a higher plant, and we would start tossing balls out, tossing little fur balls, little dummies and all that kind of stuff. So we're exchanging, Woody, we're exchanging the food for a reward and then a retrieve. So he's still getting rewarded. Woody, come. Good lad. He's still getting rewarded, but we're changing the motivator for him from food into something that we actually want him to retrieve. Good. But as you can see, not once, Woody, as he got to the end of this line. Good. There it is. Now, if he is too engrossed, and I'll show you now, Woody, that's an ignore. Oh, nearly. Whoa. I was just about to tell the ladies and gentlemen there how that was an ignore, but this will be. So that's an ignore. Woody, right? Now what I'm going to do is, here, Woody, there it is. I'm going to push the button and release the button. So Woody, ignore, push the button, check, release the button, and then he's coming back to us for a reward. But you can see how engrossed he is in this game of just being near us. Now what we need to do is, once we've moved on from this, is, I don't know if you have noticed, he hasn't looked at me once. The entire time that I've been talking, waffling on, this little dog has not looked at me a single time, okay? So then what I want to do is I want to mix it up from the floor, because what I'm going to be doing, or very aware of what I'm doing, is I'm making the floor more interesting, more valuable and more beneficial than me, okay? So what I want to start doing is, Woody, up, not on the floor. I want to promote, Woody, check. I want to promote an eye contact, like so, okay? So hence what I was saying earlier, it's a technique to get a dog moving, but if you notice and can see rapidly, flipping it, the dog doesn't even know I'm at the end of the lead. It's too engrossed in finding, scenting and hunting that little bit of kibble. Then we need to mix it up a little bit. Woody, ignore, check, back he comes, sit. See, look, he's actively not looking at me. I want him to look at me. Woody, see, this is my point. More interested in what's on the floor than actually looking at us. Good. So we're going to need with him, we're going to need to mix it up a little bit so that we don't subconsciously devalue us in his life. And you can see how this is playing out in front of your eyes. We're talking and teaching here. Good. Woody, there. Still not looked at me. Woody, still not looked at me. Still not looked at me. Woody, Woody, still not looked at me. Now he has. Okay, reward. All right. So a little bit there about Woody and next steps and how we rein a dog in or regain a dog's interest and focus and engagement once it has seen what's at the end of the rainbow. Okay, when you do get one of these, if you are going to get a puppy, keep it close. Teach your young puppy that is a Cocker Spaniel, all it can ever need, wish or want for is here. It's around you. So he has no need to want to go out there and find something that's more rewarding or enriching. Woody, come. Good. Now you're looking. That's it. Now you're looking. Good lad.